Being creative vs. making money. Chapter 1. Creativity and work. The pure artist versus the smart one. Money isn't necessarily the be-all, end-all to a happy life, nor is working a job you don't like just for the money. The purpose of a happy life is to create the life you want for yourself as you go along. You don't necessarily need a lot of money, although some people with expensive tastes and hobbies do, like eating caviar or flying airplanes. My hobbies are basic physical activities that don't require a lot of expenditure and keep me perfectly fine and happy without having to waste money on a big boat to go cruising in the harbor a few times a year, when I absolutely hate being cooped up on a boat even though it's supposed to be a big status symbol. It's this type of thinking that will sink you. I don't waste my life doing jobs I don't like just for the money. I found a few things I like to do that earn me money. I don't waste my money on useless things, so I live a pretty good life for a guy who doesn't work a regular job nor runs a full-time business with all the headaches it would bring to cloud my quality and enjoyment of life. The greatest life is freedom of the spirit, not bondage to working for the almighty dollar, even if you make tons of it. You have to find a middle ground between living by freedom of spirit and earning money such that you live a reasonably happy life as you go along. Mind you, money is good to get you to a certain financial level to be able to exercise your freedom of spirit in peace unhassled by the world, but when you cross the line into the just the little bit more and I will be happy syndrome, you're trapped into the capitalist ideal. You will never have enough no matter what. You will be stuck on that materialistic treadmill forever, acquiring things in an effort to fill the hole that can only be filled by you living a life true to yourself. Conventional New Age gurus these days like to say follow your passion and the money will follow, but I see plenty of starving artists from where I stand in the real world looking at the pipe dream created by the entertainment industry, presenting the illusion that anybody can be a pop star, movie star, or best-selling author if they dream their dreams, work hard, never give up, and the hand of either God or Peter Pan is on them, but they never say that all these things are flukes. The difference between one guy becoming a movie star and the next guy who's just as equally qualified is chance, luck, whatever you want to call it, but it's a fact that your destiny is in the hands of others who decide on who they hire and for how long, which is a horrible way to pursue your life, in a flaky, non-essential field where your success is determined randomly by the subjective opinions of the people with the power, the producers and directors of the product. If you don't believe me, go to Nashville or New Orleans, check out all the old-timer musicians playing the honky-tonks, and they will all tell you they were just as good as Elvis or Willie or whoever, but no record producer would give them a break into the big time. These guys will comfort themselves by saying that at least they didn't sell out, did it their way, didn't compromise to the man just for the money, but the bottom line is that they're failures by society's capitalist standard because they really don't have it all, to be doing what they want and enjoying a good standard of living along with it. Freedom with wealth is a much better way to live than being a struggling artist, which is why you have to be smart about it. Forget about all this frivolous stuff about maybe making it big as a pop culture product. Use your head to create something real that people really need, that's a sure thing. There's a happy medium between following your pure art as a free spirit and living in the real world to tailor your passion into fulfilling a real-world pragmatic need. Do not necessarily go after something flaky to entertain and inspire the masses, because success in that arena is tenuous at best, transient except for the few talents who can draw crowds consistently over 5 or more years, of which there are few. I'm saying get real, live in the real world. Find something within yourself that you can use to help people in a real bona fide way, and you will get to do what you enjoy and make enough money to live a relatively free, comfortable lifestyle. In the realm of pop culture, you're only fresh and new once, then people get tired of you unless you're exceptional, so your shelf life is limited at best, yet millions of naive young guns don't realize this and set out to reach their frivolous dreams only to crash when they realize the entertainment industry isn't as frivolous and easy as they thought. They realize it's a cutthroat, competitive world based on the illusion of glamour and coolness, which isn't real in the real world and applies only to a few so-called stars who are chosen basically randomly because there are always 1,000 others who can easily take their place, so they're paid well to become the pitchmen for this pop star dream that has brainwashed so many young and even older people who want to be stars without any scope of the reality of life. Making money is hard work. Make it your priority to earn it by expending your creative energies in a positive, useful way, because when you channel your true soul into whatever it is you're doing to earn your cash, you will have an infinite supply of boundless energy, which is good as long as you're not spinning your wheels doing something that the world needs, like a hole in the head, like another boy band, a so-called action movie, another pop song with a cheesy video, another crime novel, another frivolous woman's magazine, etc. Don't live the status ideal of keeping up with the Joneses, nor compare yourself to others. Live by your own standard, do what you want to do freely and tailor it into a means to earn your living. Don't be overly emotional or nostalgic about life in general, because it's constantly moving forward much too fast for the truly inspired creative person creating their lives to sit back for very long and dwell on things that were, things that might have been, or just straight out fantasize about things that are impossible. You have to ride your life as it goes along, not just sit back and be content to live a dull life in a fantasy. Strive for the uniqueness of creative expression in such a way that you fill a real need in society, and you should get the spiritual, personal, and financial success we all really want. Most people are afraid of going on their own, pursuing what they feel in their souls to offer something to the world that they perceive tangible and worthy. They play it safe in a dull job somewhere, which inherently destroys their souls over time and could lead to disaster if they lose it, as is common in today's world with a changing economy and lots of downsizing due to dying industries and an oversupply of product in general. Living by the soul is the hardest thing in the world to do. Most everybody likes to think they're living by soul, but they're generally living out the career path of the American dream, which is a compromise for everyone. True strength of character is to create your own life for yourself, not simply to pick from among the several hundred options offered by the system as the definition of success. Consider a professional career in anything, I don't care what it is, you're compromising your life. Give it all you got for what you really believe in that's worthy for the human race, and not just a delusional piece of flaky art, and you should live an honorable, happy, successful life. If something doesn't work, don't sink with the ship. Be real enough to get off, reinvent yourself and move in a different direction. Keep creating yourself and try something new. Failure by other people's standards, not yours. Failure is a two-sided coin. You didn't achieve your intention, but you learned that that's not what the world wants right now, so you now have the wisdom to know that the world is generally not fickle, that only a few flukes luck out in the pop culture realm, so you know you have to give it something real in order to have it respond back to you and reap tangible benefits, so be real with what you come up with to offer the world. Even successful people get bored and move on to other things, so always think like an independent contractor, even if you are currently tied down to a successful business. In order to get the most out of life, you have to challenge your creative potential all the time, and if that means breaking from convention to try out a new idea, why not? Do it intelligently though. Tailor your great ideas on something the world needs, not just something that's unique to you that you think is a great idea that might catch on. Too many people are caught up in their own individuality, but the world doesn't care about your individuality. It only cares if you can help it some way, so if you want to be unique, you can do it all you want on a street corner doing cheap tricks for spare change, but if you're smart, you won't start with yourself as your focus but with the world, and use it to tailor your creative energy to fill a need that's relevant to the day-to-day practical lives of people. Any movie maker or music act will tell you there's no certainty in those fields, every new release is a risk. Nobody knows for sure if the public will embrace it, but way back in 1976, when Bill Gates was developing software for the Altair, the first personal computer, he intuitively knew that PCs would someday revolutionize the world. This is the difference between being real and being a victim of pop culture delusion, the trap which I've seen many of my friends and acquaintances fall into, thinking they were way fantastic, special, and unique with stars in their eyes, thinking they were gonna go out and be the next soap opera star or pop star, only to realize everyone who makes it in these businesses are flukes, because there are easily a few thousand more that fit the bill and someone else is always calling the shots. With their whims on any particular day, you could be the one picked to get the record contract, to star in the latest TV series, or maybe you will be the one who doesn't get picked, which is far more likely. So in the end, I live in the real world of houses, bathrooms, teeth, food, and money, and don't take my creative energies that seriously that I will be a starving artist for them. As long as I'm creating something that's reasonably interesting, serves a useful function in the world and earns me money, I'm happy. I don't have to end up like Van Gogh did, stabbing himself in the heart because he couldn't sell any of his paintings. With every gadget, there's an alternative gadget. TV Internet hook UPS evolved from internet usage through a computer. The PC evolved from the mainframe, then the laptop, and finally the handheld PDA. Cell phones came from phones, distance education evolved from traditional classroom instruction. Dirt bikes evolved from motorcycles. If you have an innovator's mind, you can look around, see what already exists, figure out a way to make it better and get rich while helping people. Look for new markets to create. For inspiration about innovators, read the book They Made America by Harold Evans. GeniusTypes.com. Creative people and work. Some people say that creative fulfillment is the most important determinant of happiness at work. Other people say it's friendship, to be friendly with the people you work with. Even if you're not a fine arts type, many people want to do work that inspires them. If you're creative and don't fancy yourself a starving artist, get into the graphic artist/illustrator field. There are lots of jobs there. Ultimately, creative people create their own jobs. They find a need from the things they like to do and fill it. The greatest reward of work shouldn't be about the money. It should be what it does for you. The enlightened people try to suck up whatever inspiration they can get from out there to keep themselves inspired so they can fulfill their inspired visions. An artist of life knows it's really all inside of themselves. Hope, power and inspiration are the strengths of the soul which an enlightened person recognizes as his most valuable possessions and actively consciously strives to culture them to keep them high all the time. This is the purpose of life, yet I see very few people live by this code. I've hung around with the artsy-fartsy creative realm of the hippie artist for long enough and know all this stuff is well and good to experience life, but at the very least, it will very rarely pay your bills, nor does it do anything substantial for the world, which is why I said I will be the bohemian hippie, free me, but I will be real, live by my basic practical roots and the power of inspired knowledge. Then at least I will know I'm doing something tangible and not just wasting my energy on generic creative diarrhea, which the world is overfull of, which is kinda useless in the grand scheme of things, silly generic things to occupy the masses even though it is big money for those who get the ratings. Don't blindly create things without worrying about where your food is coming from, because the real world is brutal, and even if you are lucky enough to parlay your skills into a contract in the frivolous pop culture realm, chances are the suits there will try to manipulate you into being something you're not. You will have a run for a little while, then you will be back to your mundane self, not having done what you really wanted to do to express yourself and be true to yourself. Be real, find something from your soul you can do that's real to you and real to others, and not just another piece of formulaic generic pop culture entertainment, something that either helps, entertains, or inspires people in a real, significant way. Just about every new age type self-help book I've ever read says wake up, smell the roses and go out and do crazy things to experience your life. While I concur with this attitude for a few seasons, the truth is that as you find yourself, your life converges to those few things that are truly artifacts of your soul that inspire you to make you feel good, while everything else moves into the realm of the random generic experience done for trivial amusement and entertainment but not important to the real you. I don't really need much anymore. There are only a few things left that I feel an intense need to do, but they make up for my lack of interest in most of the things in the generic mainstream pop culture world. I'm not going to shove it down anybody's throats, just tell you if you want to get real, get away from the world agenda for a while to search yourself for your first level dreams from the world to see if they're just illusions you borrowed from out there or actually the real you. Too many people chase illusions that they think are real, and then once they get there, realize it wasn't the real them in their souls. Get beyond your dreams from the world to find what you really feel in your soul. Strip yourself down to your core and find your true purpose in life to earn you your cash and be a positive force in some way. The power in your soul is something you either have inside of you strongly or don't. That power must be tangible, something I feel strongly about that's worthy, which is why I generally reject the realm of aesthetic creative endeavor as trivial amusement, although there are a few artists who do great inspiring work that touches people deeply. Help someone live a better life somehow in a real way, or strive to do something truly great and tough. Don't just aspire to sing a pretty song, dance a cute jig, or write a generic shoot 'em up story with the pretty big boobed chick that doesn't really say anything great and original about the nature of man. There's a real world out there which always needs pioneers forging its frontiers. This is my take on the visionary individual, not anything else. My inspired power is inside of me. I have to create it by myself every day to strive to reach for my inherent goodness and my feelings of transcendence, as it should be for you if you aspire to live a full life. Find your uniqueness as a human being, then do something real with it purely without compromise, and you will get to live as great a life as any person can and find honor in the world as well. Going for your dreams is a pipe dream for most people. First, find something you like to do so much you'd gladly do it for nothing, then learn to do it so well people are happy to pay you for it. Walt Disney. When you do your best, good things happen. Let's say I'm a guy who's lived in the real world, graduated from the school of hard knocks, and lived the spectrum of life all the way from naive artist to hardened cynic. The best piece of advice I could possibly give you is that the world of TV shows, self-help tape packages and cutesy books with snappy titles is the fake world of making money by arousing people with empty formulas of how to fulfill capitalist dreams. Live in the real world. Don't listen to people who tell you to throw all caution to the wind and go for it. If you want to be a starving artist, go ahead. The world is not as simple as it looks when all glossed up on TV. If you watch business TV and read motivational self-help books, what you see is gloss. Every guest on every talk show who has made it talks arrogantly and whitewashes their lives. They all make it seem like it was almost a breeze to make it, and they all try to portray themselves as talented, hard-working people. The truth is that most people lived through hellish uncertainty at times before they made it, and luck, not talent, plays a part in the success of a lot of people. There's no rhyme nor reason why somebody gets successful while somebody else who works harder doesn't. There's always an intangible X factor to it. Because of the reality of life in the real world, I will not tell you the cliché of going for your dreams no matter what. I'm telling you to live in the real world. TV shows all the success stories, but they don't tell you about the million or so bankruptcies every year. Look before you leap. Do your research before you plunge headlong into any business venture. I know that if you watch a certain business talk show, a couple of the players come on and say we were too naive to know any better, which turned out to be why they were successful, because if they had analyzed the situation they never would have gotten into that business. What I'm saying is that it looks cute after the fact when some guy on TV is saying it on a glossed up show geared to hype you up, but it's your life and your money. Don't do anything stupid like jump into a fire. Start slowly. Keep your day job and save your money. The bottom line, real deal no matter what, is to make enough money to survive on. Living freely and following your soul are all nice concepts that the flowery, artsy types throw out at us, but none of it means anything if you don't ultimately inspire, entertain, or help people in such a way that they will pay you for it, and I'm not talking gimmicks. Whatever you do, do with a pure heart and a sincere desire to help people rather than rip them off with some flimsy idea you have. There was a show on TV that claimed to want to help people make it big by going for their dreams, but the problem was that the show was based on gimmicks, not real hardcore, practical needs that people have in real life. They would bring guests on who had created a new product and were trying to make it big with it. To me it was like watching capitalism pop culture style. There were no really useful products that could help people. They were all gimmicks, like a new type of bikini, a new fruit drink, an iPod carrier, a new brand of vodka, t-shirts with designs on them, sexy dolls for kids, etc. To me the shopping malls are already full of plenty of crap. Get real. Figure something out that helps people. Don't just create a new purse with a new design on it. Giving is the basis of all success. Help someone make money, save money, feel better, heal, live better, have a good time or get inspired about their lives, and you'll get the money you want plus feel like you're doing something worthy with your life, which is the key to happiness. Someone once said you're exactly where you have to be right now. My interpretation of this is that if you're struggling for something and nobody seems to give a damn, it simply means that you need this period to further explore your life, keep at it, keep reassessing yourself and moving on with your visions. If you start a company and the going gets tough, all your employees might bail, leaving you to struggle through by yourself. Most artists and people going for their dreams are starving. Unless you're financially independent, creative endeavors don't matter, because what's the good of living a so-called aesthetic creative lifestyle if you're constantly worried about when you will be homeless like Van Gogh and thousands of starving artists just like him? You either need a great mind that has come up with a great idea that people will pay for, a good job that pays the bills, a benefactor who gives you money, or a gimmick you can use to fluke out and make it as a pop star, then run with the money before your adoring public realizes you're not as cool and special as you portray yourself to be. Money is it for almost everyone unless you have more than you will ever need and don't have to worry about it. Bend a little towards pragmatic reality. Tailor your artsy ideas to the real world. Be smart. Don't be a martyr trying to keep your soul pure when you're living in a dive and barely have enough money to eat. Get real. Tailor your creative energy into something people need or want and will pay you for. The purpose of a creative person's life is to stay inspired and inspire other people in some way. This can be tough because the world thinks it has seen it all and often doesn't want to listen. A pioneer and original goes forward despite the massive tidal wave of adversity and rejection against virtually all of them at the beginning of their quests. The world won't beat a path to your door regardless of how great your contribution is. It sees you as just another pretender. You have to beat a path to it in order to be heard. Persistence is the only key to success in anything, especially something you do from your soul, because creativity is a dime a dozen. Everybody thinks they're a genius or a star, so you gotta work extra hard in order to shine through. Be forewarned that creative freedom often means solitaire, because there ain't gonna be anyone sharing the path with you. If you work a job, at least you got your workmates to complain about your miserable life to, then you can drink it all away and sing karaoke together later. If you choose to live freely by your soul, you gotta be your own rock. Most people don't have a strong need to follow their souls. As long as they have enough money to pay their bills, they're happy as is. So despite everything I say, the only thing that matters when you ain't got much money is money, so that's the bottom line. Get enough money to survive on. Only then, after you've taken care of that, should you worry about taking care of your higher, spiritual needs, creative needs, hedonistic needs, or your cheap thrills needs if that's your bag. Creativity in business. Find problems and solve them. Find problems and solve them. Find problems and solve them. Creativity is the path to wealth. Ideas are a dime a dozen, even good ones. You have to do something about them, otherwise they're just mental entertainment. I got a file for ideas I came up with over the years. There's a couple hundred in there, but I'll never develop them because business is boring to me. I like ideas and mental stimulation. I don't like the tedium of developing them, but you must if you want to make money and succeed in business. I'm not going to repeat all the stories about people getting spur-of-the-moment ideas then creating great products. There's the inventor of the TV. I think his name was Farnsworth. He was helping his father farm his land when he realized the way to create a picture out of waves was one row at a time, reminiscent of how his father plowed the land. There are lots of other ideas. Einstein was thinking about relativity. It was working in his brain, in his subconscious mind, even when he wasn't thinking about it, through a process sometimes called incubation. E=mc2 came to him in a flash insight. There are lots of innocuous inventions that made people fortunes. How about paper clips, safety pins, post-it notes, typewriter liquid eraser and Spanx, making panties a few inches longer so as not to get panty lines showing through? You could conceivably get an idea in any field, even in business techniques. PayPal was a new way to make transactions that opened up the internet for people without credit cards and people worried about using their credit cards on the internet. Merchant credit card accounts have barely been out 50 years. Creative success equals solving a problem lots of people have. You come from nowhere and blindside the usual way of doing things. Apple created the PC, then the iPod. Barnes and Noble thought they were the big cheese in books. They never saw Amazon.com coming. One thing is certain. People are generally resistant to change. You have to market your new idea to educate them on its advantages. New products have a run of several years, then you either have to innovate them or demand will fizzle out. Price usually goes down as demand increases. At first, only the brave, adventurous people will buy it. The introduction of the product is important. You have to try to create some buzz and get people talking about it, viral marketing. You have to either be first, best, cheapest or all three. If you get an idea, build a prototype, test it with people. Run it past a product liability lawyer for safety concerns. If people like it, go ahead and do it. If you make money, hire some ideas people to help you come up with new ideas. Packaging counts for something. The big companies spend time and money designing CD covers, book covers, etc. Even if you get a patent, you will get copycats stealing your idea. It's your choice to either focus on getting market dominance or spend time filing patent infringement lawsuits. Expect adversity and rejection. The greatest ideas ever were rejected when they first came out, especially if you buck the way things are being done right now. Find ways to improve existing products. It's all about partnerships. If somebody offers you money to help you develop your idea, take it. Offer a cash prize for anyone who brings you an idea that you turn into a product. Try number 658.406 or HD53 at the library.